We all know the story. 300 Spartans at Thermopylae, a last stand that echoes through history. But this myth overshadows a deeper truth. Thermopylae was not the end, but the beginning. The real war was a test of endurance, adaptation, and relentless struggle that spanned years. Sparta, famed for land warfare, was forced to master the sea. The Greeks fought not just with spears in narrow passes, but with oars and sails across the Aegean. The true victory came not in a single moment, but through years of grinding pressure. The story isn't just about the 300, it's about the thousands who followed. Soldiers became marines, kings became admirals, and the campaign became a testament to human resilience. To understand Sparta's legacy, we must look beyond the hot gates. We must follow them as they regrouped, transformed, and took the fight to the enemy. This is the story of what came next, how the Greeks, led by a determined Sparta, refused to accept defeat. They pursued their enemy to the edges of the known world, breaking an empire's back. Their triumph was not a single stand, but a long, arduous war of attrition. After Thermopylae, Greece hardened its resolve. The sacrifice of Leonidas became a rallying cry, buying time to regroup and prepare. Xerxes thought Greece was broken. He was wrong. In 479 BC, the largest Greek army ever assembled gathered at Plataea. This was total mobilization. Spartans, Athenians, Corinthians, and more. Nearly 40,000 hoplites. The logistics were staggering, with supplies and command shared among rival city-states. Spartan general Pausanias led this coalition, uniting diverse forces under one banner. The Persians, confident and numerous, underestimated the Greeks' resolve. They saw a fragile alliance, but the Greeks were fighting for survival and revenge. Plataea was not just a military camp, it was the embodiment of Greek defiance. The stage was set for a confrontation that would decide the fate of Greece. The Persians prepared for victory, the Greeks prepared for history. The storm was about to break. The Battle of Plataea was a brutal, chaotic struggle lasting nearly 2 weeks. Persian cavalry harassed the Greeks, hoping to provoke a mistake. Pausanias held firm, waiting for the right moment. When the Persians cut off the Greek water supply, Pausanias ordered a risky nighttime repositioning. At dawn, Mardonius mistook the move for a retreat and attacked. The Spartans, far from fleeing, turned and met the charge head-on. The phalanx held, and Mardonius was killed in the melee. Persian morale collapsed. The rout was total. The Greeks stormed the Persian camp, turning victory into slaughter. Plataea marked a strategic shift, from desperate defense to confident offense. The Persian threat in Greece was destroyed. Now the war would cross the sea. With Persia's land army shattered, the war shifted to the sea. The Persian navy still dominated the Aegean, threatening Greek security. For Sparta, this was a new challenge. They were masters of land, not sea. Their society was built for hoplites, not sailors. But necessity forced change. Sparta provided leadership and elite marines, while Athens and Corinth supplied ships and sailors. Pausanias, the hero of Plataea, took command of the allied fleet. Spartans adapted, transforming hoplites into marines for brutal shipboard combat. The transition was difficult. Armor became a liability, and teamwork with foreign sailors was essential. Yet the Spartans learned, evolving their tactics for the unpredictable sea. Their adaptability would define the next phase of the war. The journey from land to sea was a test of Spartan resilience. The Greeks were ready to challenge Persian power on the waves. Spartan hoplites became marines out of necessity. On triremes, the phalanx dissolved. Combat was chaotic and personal. Boarding actions were savage. Marines leapt onto enemy decks, fighting in close quarters. Armor was lighter, but the risk of drowning was constant. Spartans excelled at turning naval battles into brutal melees, where their training gave them the edge. Their favored tactic: disable enemy ships, then board and overwhelm with superior skill. Sea combat demanded not just strength, but mental toughness amid chaos and fear. The roar of battle, the lurch of ships, and the threat of death tested every man. These marines became the steel tip of the Greek naval spear. Spartan spirit proved deadly on water as well as land. The war at sea was won by those who could adapt and endure. Campaigning across the Aegean was a logistical nightmare for the Greeks. Far from home, they had to feed, supply, and pay their forces without a central bureaucracy. Each city-state managed its own provisions, often resorting to foraging or extorting supplies from coastal towns. Spartan soldiers, used to state support, now had to be self-sufficient. Foraging parties risked ambush and disease. Survival skills were learned the hard way. The financial strain was immense. Rowers demanded pay, ships needed constant repair. Commanders sometimes forced contributions from allies, blurring the line between liberator and conqueror. Campaigns were dictated by the need for supplies as much as by strategy. Soldiers faced not just the enemy, but hunger, exposure, and exhaustion. Only the toughest survived, becoming hardened veterans. The relentless grind shaped the war's character. Survival itself became a daily battle. After Plataea, the Greeks knew security meant taking the fight to Persia. They launched an offensive to liberate Ionian cities and dismantle Persian naval power. The Allied fleet, led by Sparta, struck at Mycale, destroying the Persian navy and army in a single campaign. This victory sparked revolts across Ionia and shifted momentum to the Greeks. Control of the Hellespont became vital for Greek grain imports and security. The siege of Sestos symbolized their determination, enduring hardship until the fortress fell. The Greeks waged a war of pressure, dismantling Persian power piece by piece. This was a new kind of warfare, long, expeditionary, and relentless. Every victory pushed the frontier farther from Greek shores. The Greeks were redrawing the map of the eastern Mediterranean. The Greek coalition's relentless pressure wore down the Persian Empire. Decades of sieges, raids, and naval patrols drained Persia's strength and ended its ambitions in Greece. But the war also transformed the Greek world. Sparta, unsuited to long overseas campaigns, gradually withdrew. Athens stepped into the vacuum, leading the Delian League and building a maritime empire. Tribute from allies funded Athens's rise and its golden age. The war that Sparta began to secure freedom paved the way for its greatest rival. The lesson victory required adaptation, endurance, and relentless pursuit of a strategic goal. Land powers became sea powers, soldiers became marines. True triumph came not from a single stand, but from years of disciplined effort. Thermopylae was the spark. The long war at sea forged the future of Greece.